In this video we are going to have a look at the administration area. First I need to log in, and after logging in I'm presented with the dashboard of the administrator. The default view is being to show me for the default branch, which would be 4X, how many translations are missing in the various languages, and it's sorted descending so you know how much is done or how much is missing. Then obviously we need to kind of talk about the infrastructure that the translation application is using. So the main concept is the branches. Here we got two branches, the 4X branch and the 5X branch, which shows basically where all the information is coming from. The identifier here is being used for downloading resource files later in an automatic fashion. Then we have a branch name that's displayed all around, and this is the base URL for the branch that's mostly intended for later use. Now that we have two branches in here, we need to define the resource files. And in the case of Shop Develop that's being used as a sample here, we only got a single resource file, and it has a couple of information in here. It has a name that's being displayed in all the various drop-downs, and the name format here is basically with a single parameter only, and the single parameter is the culture information. The extension, be it either regex or resources, is being added automatically when the file is being downloaded, for example in the translators view, or via the resget utility that's being used in the automated build. This is basically just a template that's being used for the branch files, which is basically the definition. I'm using this resource file in this branch. And when we take a look at the 4X branch here again, it tells me, okay, this is the 4X branch file. It's a string resources file that I'm defining. And then there is the sync path absolute. If we take a look at the path here quickly, this is basically the raw GitHub URL to download the regex file. This is being used by the sync processor to get the file from GitHub and compare it to the database to add, update, and delete the new or edit or deleted files from the database. So that's kind of the definition. We need a branch, at least one branch. We need at least one resource file, and then define the branch resource file for this branch to be able to work with. Next thing in the master data is the languages. Basically the languages can be added by defining the language code. It's strongly recommended that you stick with the ISO code and then add a description. This will go ahead and create the language and create empty translations for the already existing resource string. So this might take quite a bit of time for generating it. But then the new language is part of the languages here, and removing really asks you, are you super secure, because this will delete all the data from the database. Obviously you should also have backups of your database, regular backups, to be working with this properly. Next thing are the translators. I can create a new translator, or for the sake of speed in the demo, I'm going to edit an existing one. You need to provide first last name, create an independent username, add an email address, and then there is the concept of the user being active. So you can deactivate users for a certain amount of time. And then you can define a number of languages. The languages are separated by the pipe character, and you need trailing and leading pipes too. This is being used so we can easily search for code translators in specific languages. And yes, here is only a simple switch for making the user an administrator. We are not using roles, because the only role that can be granted to anyone here is the administrator role. So that's basically it for editing a translator. And once you click save, the user can log in, because we are sending an automated password email to the user and tell the user to please change the initial password after initial login. And if you later need to contact all active translators, we built in a send email functionality that will allow you to reach out to all the translators that are using your installation of resource first translations.